Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalrim, and Blizzard are bringing so many abilities back, and I love how they're just deep pruning everything that we had back in the day. We're seeing so many abilities make a comeback, like Tranquilize and Shout for Hunters, and even Hibernate for Druids, as well as enrage mechanics like Soothe to take off enrage effects from enemies, are making a comeback in the game. Makes me super happy and super excited. One of the things I want to talk about in today's video were raid buff abilities returning in the next expansion, and I'm super excited to talk a bit more about this because I missed raid buffs for the longest time. The raid buffs that we had back in the day, and I think we stopped with raid buffs around, I want to say it's Warlord's General, and in Legion we didn't have any raid buffs, was kind of like the raid buffs that everybody brought in the past were unchangeable. You could maybe get a druid who would grant everybody stats, but you could also get a monk that grants everybody stats as well. So raid buffs, I guess, didn't really matter too much. You did have to be a little bit conscious about the comp of choice, but Blizzard wanted to make that consciousness kind of disappear, so then they took away buffs altogether to put everybody on an even playing field. So then it's really a question of who has the best healing, who is the best tank, who does the most damage. And that has been, I guess, working for a few expansions, but people miss being able to pre-buff before a fight. Right now in Legion, all you need to do is pop a potion, sit down and get some food, actually in reverse order, and then you pull the boss, and then you go on and go. And I feel like when you have more of that preparation, and if every class brings something unique to the table, then it offers a lot more opportunities for people to play, whether the class is doing competitively well or not. For example, here's some of the buffs that we have right now on the Blizzard floor, and there's only one missing, but I want to go over them and what are some of the uses for these buffs. Death Knights, starting with Vampiric Aura, grants party and raid members within 40 yards lifesteal from the targets, increasing your leech by 5%. Demon Hunters bring Demon Speed, granting all party members 3% haste. Druids get Mark of the Wild, but it's a bit redesigned. They get Versatility for 3% for 1 hour, so you have to refresh it after a while. Hunters get Aspect of the Pack, granting all party and raid members Aspect of the Cheetah, increasing movement speed by 15%. Now that's a solid buff. I mean, the other ones were stats, but I do want to say that Leech and then movement speed, those are significant buffs. There's nothing to scoff at. Mage come back with Arcane Intellect. Infuses targets with Brilliance, granting their intellect by 5% for 1 hour. Monks bring the Legacy of the Emperor, and in past Mark of the Wild and Legacy of the Emperor were interchangeable, but in this iteration of the game, Legacy of the Emperor brings you Mastery, 54 Mastery to be exact. So far you've seen all the buffs that are different. Let's go on with the rest of the video. Paladin bring Devotion Aura to the party and raid members, bolstering their devotion, increasing armor by 10%. Priest, Power Word Fortitude, infuses the target with Vitality, increases their stamina by 10% for 1 hour. Rogues bring Expose Armor. Your common point generators expose weakness in target's armor, increasing physical damage taken by 5%. Shamans so far are unknown, but I'll tell you what are my predictions for Shaman buffs in just a little bit. Warlocks, Curse of the Elements. Your damage curses the target, increasing magical damage by 5% for 1 minute. Oh, I never did remember Crystal Elements from back in the day. You used to have to use a global for it, but I guess now it kind of comes with your class. Warrior, Battle Shout. Increases the strength or agility of all party and raid members within 100 yards by 5% for 1 hour. Now, the only one that's missing right now is Shaman, and so far we've had just about every single stat. We've had Versatility, we've had Haste, but we haven't had crit, so I think Shamans are either going to be on offensive and bring crit to the party, or they will be a lot like a Paladin who brings 10% armor, and maybe Shamans will bring like a 5% damage reduction from magical spells and abilities and dots. So that could be very interesting to see in the future. So far, I'm really happy to see these buffs come back because, let's say, for example, and what these buffs do, let's say Death Knights are not doing that great in a game. Let's say whether you're Unholy or your Blood Tank or your Frost, none of the specs are really competitive. Let's say they don't really have that great physical or damage reduction as a Blood and they're not that great of a tank, hypothetically. And let's say Unholy and Frost is just not performing well in single target or AoE. If you're with a guild together and you're running guild groups and a Death Knight wants to join, instead of having somebody else who does more damage come in, now it's viable to bring a Death Knight. Even though they're not doing that well, they're bringing an extra buff for your party. So instead of making a certain class feel ostracized, it's completely fine to take him under your wing and have him join your group because of the buff they bring. Some of these classes might be performing well or not well, and depending on the specs they play, they might be good at certain roles. But because you have a certain class, it gives a buff to your party and allows for a lot of different team compositions to play with. Let's say you have party members that really benefit from haste, so bringing a demon hunter on board would be great. Let's say you don't really have the tankiest tank ever. Bringing a paladin as a holy or a red allows everybody in your party to have increased armor as well as the tank. Having a priest come in, shadow or holy or disc, will give stamina for everybody. So even if shadow priests are not doing that well in damage, at least they give stamina for the tank, allowing the party better survivability. So there's a lot more that they bring to the table. And we'll see what Shaman brings to the table, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to be as unique and as varied as possible. In the past, all these buffs, and majority of these buffs, they were interchangeable. Like 1 or 2 classes could bring 1, 2, or even 3 buffs at a time. So you would have some classes and some specs, and you would have some weird combos where you would actually do class stacking. You would have like an LA Shaman and a Resto Shaman, and then maybe a Paladin tank, and then maybe or Warrior tank better back in the day, because they actually brought more buffs. And you would have like this weird class stacking capabilities. And it is still possible to class stack in the next expansion, I would think, but it gives you more of a, I guess, necessity to vary the group and bring as many different skills and specs and playstyles into your group in order to be more wholesome, because every single class provides a unique buff to the rest of the party. I feel like this is an awesome way of going about it. I love buffs, and I used to miss them from back in the day, and the fact that they're bringing them back, and the fact that rogues have an awesome buff for exposed armor, increasing physical damage taken by 5%, makes me super happy. But if I was playing any of these other classes, I think I'm pretty happy with all of them, even the Deathknight one for the leech increase. Because overall, all these buffs can help a raid, let alone a small dungeon group, even a Mythic Plus group, or even an arena team, perform well together, depending on what classes you bring, as every class brings something special to the game. I like it, and I'm personally a fan. I am sold, so I want to hear what you guys think about the raid buffs being returning in the game. I am super happy because I remember buffing up, and it's this nostalgia feeling, plus the actual utility of it. It's just such a cool combination, so I really hope this turns out really well. As you can tell, guys, I'm really excited and really hyped about the next expansion, and there's a lot for me to talk about it, and I've been putting out a lot of videos on it, but I've been really happy doing it. I'm sorry if you guys are not happy about the spam of videos that I had, especially that 4 videos in a single day kind of shindig that I got going on, but I've been super excited to post videos, super excited to make videos, super excited to learn all these new things and update you guys on it. So I do apologize ahead if you're not happy about the spam, but understand this, I'm honestly having so much fun making all these videos. Thank you guys again so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the class buffs, if you want to see them in the future, and which buffs would you actually want changed. Let's say you're playing Death Knight and you don't like the leech. What would you rather your class have? Maybe strength? Maybe just plain ice armor or something? I don't really know. You guys let me know in the comments. Give the video a like because it allows my channel to grow a lot faster. The more likes videos get, seems like YouTube just sends them out more to recommend to people. And subscribe and hit the notification button because I'll be covering the expansion as close as I can in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see all of you in the next one.